Welcome. Amy Seukeran, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Life Coach, Canada. There. Let me get the name right. Hold on. I don't want to get it wrong before we start. October 10th, 2025. A Friday. World Mental Health Day. That's what we're celebrating today, apparently, with the rest of the world. A global call to recognize that mental wellness is essential, not optional. That's what the Westwood Square post says right here in Malton. Awareness is the first step towards support. Today and every day, we encourage you to check in with yourself and others, share resources, and reduce the stigma around asking for help. Because mental health is for everyone. So now that we've read their post, right down the street, Westwood Mall, Westwood Square. We're all caught up to Malton. Back to the reality of right here in this building, 7555 Gorway Drive, apartment 47. And what's going on here? So I think it would involve mental health, no? You don't think so? Somebody's? Maybe not yours, but mine, definitely my mental health is being tested every minute. Oh, the latest. What, you didn't hear the latest? The police were called on me again. This time I'm recording their children. You didn't see the lovely video when they pulled me out of the shower for the third time? Well, it's a real fun one. I'm sure re-traumatization. It would qualify under that, so I haven't watched it, but you can go ahead and rewatch it. Would you like me to try to count now how many police officers I've interacted with? And how many, which one? Have been professional, just done their job? Have not? Which one? What's the best way to say it? Well, is that the difference if I end up in jail? How many, if you watched it? I wasn't threatened by them? Why are you laughing at this? What are the police for? What is their job? To help people? So some random stranger called after living here for how many months? That's the same window, right? We went over this morning. How many months of screaming? When I get up nauseous, it doesn't matter what time, right? If I wake up and I'm nauseous, I open the window for air. That's the same exact window. So what exactly? Well, this is the second time. How many times you've called now? The police came banging on my door for what? So? You actually questioning how all these people ended up 6 feet under? If this is what you do? A complete stranger. Complete lie. So what would happen if I took revenge on your kids now? Well, do you think you're going to move out from underneath me? That's literally underneath me, right? Where you live. Those are the windows of the apartment, this unit that I live in, 47. The first one, remember? I have narcotics in my unit. Just erase those? Forget that people here did that to me? How am I supposed to do that? And then on top of it, what the police officers, when they come here, do to me. How do I forget all of that? What do you qualify that as under? Mental health? No? I want to hear. It says mental wellness, right? Mental illness. So what qualifies in Malton as mental illness? If this is what the people here do to others. We have lots of topics, right? Lots of text messages to my phone and my social media. So lots of topics under mental health, right? Malton? Well, what did it say in that post? Anxiety disorders. What else? Substance use disorders and what? Mood disorders. More than 5 million people, age 15 plus, meet criteria for mood, anxiety, or substance use disorders annually, every year. Still, nearly half of those people say they didn't reach out to a health professional in the past year. For many, symptoms begin early. 1 in 5 Canadians will personally experience a mental health challenge in a given year. So what kind of mental health challenges? Yeah, I went over this. I've been going over this since I came to Malton, right? With Malton. Not to mention cost for shelter for how many years? Not to mention Canadian mental health and CAMH, whatever you want to call it, for how many years? So what do you think my business, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Life Coach, involved when I opened it, if it wasn't mental health? On today, World Mental Health Day. Well, those are your real children, right? So I'd love to hear this one. You call the police on people and tell them lies, and then you expect your children to be safe when they're the ones who walk to school and walk back and go to the mall and the McDonald's? I don't understand this. Can somebody explain it? I have an hour. Mental Health Day, World Mental Health Day. Let's talk about trauma. What's qualified? What's considered trauma? How do you get anxiety? Let's talk about the police officers. If you watch that video, how many times, if that happened to you, would you ever call them for help? Well, what would you have? What would you do if that was you and they did that to you? If you were in my situation, you can't consider anything because you haven't been in my situation. You haven't had the same experiences with the same services and women and men that I have. So there's no way you can be talking. You did that for what reason? Do you understand how serious that is? You all seem like it's a big joke here. Those are just children. Like, that's exactly what it seems like. Absolutely nothing. That wouldn't have happened to me because I wouldn't film. I find that to be very strange behavior. Wow. No, I am not. I don't give any cares anymore. Like I said, you actually make false calls against people. Whatever happens. How many times did I say this? I'm just getting me all on record, right? This is how ridiculous. My name, my business. I have my door decorated. I have my windows decorated. You actually want to involve your children. I told you earlier, keep them away from me and keep them away from my door. It's not going to stop me from decorating for Christmas and having children's events. You keep your children away from me. If you have the nerve to call on me, I'm recording your children. Make sure they're far away from me. You're all aware where I live. You can talk all you want, but when they're dead on the street, just call me, right? Make sure you know where I am. Make sure you know who did it. No more blaming anybody. I told you, you called my name enough. Nothing. Don't ever tell me about any of them. I have no respect for anybody here. Anything. My business, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Life Coach. 6 years wasted because you wanted to what? Don't ever tell me about respect. You guys can't even do your jobs and watch your children, and your police officers helping who? Don't ever tell me about respect. Is that a threat of violence toward my children? Why don't you just show Malton this after? No, I want you. A threat toward your children. I want you to watch this and watch the video with the police officers. Show everybody in Malton you know and ask them the same question when we're done here. No, I want you to see yourselves and why. Like you said, right? 6 years. Why all the children, right, are the ones paying for it? I want you to watch this now. Let your children show it to you in their perspective. Maybe they can explain it better. They don't want to put their life at risk because you're what? Completely nothing in your head? Sure, what if I ask how many you're drinking right now? Well, it's Friday. You're the adults. From what I've seen. Really? You made a false call and said I'm recording your kids. Now you're here drinking. You've been here outside my window screaming all day like you have no care in the world. What if I actually called and reported you? What would you do then? What if I came down there and threw a rock through your window? Do you hear yourself? You don't think I saw the recording just as much as you did? You don't know where you live, though you don't know what your children look like? Everybody didn't see it? So where do you think you are now? It doesn't make any difference to me, I told you. Not a one. Actually, what when I moved in and I had the Halloween bags I gave out. What happened when I was making the Christmas boxes? When I had the egg hatching? When I made all the keychains? Oh, all of a sudden I'm recording your children now? Let me hear you again, disease. One of these days, right? One of you isn't going to make it in this building. You just watch carefully. Watch again and make sure you know who you are. I'm not going to move from where I am, right? This is all how many of you, if you count you now, in this building? Yeah, after this, count it again. Since I moved in, all these problems, what did any of them have to do with me? You actually involved your children, called and said I had narcotics. If people actually got revenge, I want you to understand. I want you to show everybody and ask them what they would do to you if you believe this is A-okay to you and somebody wouldn't do something. If I was a revenge person, I want you to hear everybody, as many as you can. Yeah, they should be ashamed. The police should be ashamed if they ever, right? They're supposed to be doing what? They don't know any of this? Like you said, I'm on ODSP. I have no obligations, right? I'm the one who should be sitting and drinking away my problems. Nothing to do, right? Nowhere to go. You don't want me seen anywhere, so you don't want me doing anything near your children. So why shouldn't I be doing what you're doing, drinking my life away? Yeah, maybe if I drank real good, right? That's real good. And tell me about your children more. Yo, World Mental Health Day, calling the police, right? Take a good look at the officers I had to deal with. You get to sit here? Yeah, let's go back to. Why are you talking about mental health, World Mental Health Day at the mall? That's the biggest joke I've heard since I moved back to Malton. Besides Cawthra Shelter talking about Canadian Mental Health Association, helping them there, having a worker. Let's go over substance use since that's the mall. What kind of substances in Malton since that's Westwood Square? What are we admitting to today? It says substance use disorder, so go ahead, let me hear. I want to hear from Westwood Square now. My name, my business, right? I have to run the rest of my life living here. So let's hear. What substance use disorders do you have in Malton that I should be aware of since that's Westwood Square and I go there every day to shop? Who's responsible for mental health in Moulton? There's a police station in the mall, so yeah, I'm asking everyone. What are you doing? And what if it lists the substances? Well, in reality, you have how many alcohol stores, right? So, like I said, I can only speak for me, right? I can't actually speak or vouch for anything else in Moulton right at this minute. Okay, what about anxiety disorders? Anybody smoke reefer for the anxiety? Let's start with a fun one since it's Friday. Do you take medication for your anxiety disorder? This is as real as it gets. You know what you can do, right? Why I have no respect for the police? Take a good look. Why I have no respect for Moulton? Take a good look at you. You want to involve people, their life. Why are you here? Amy, we back the blue. You were the one defunding them and they were killing people. Don't come here with your crap. I told you I have no respect for any of you. What did you do for 6 years? Why were you spouting about mental health? Yeah, go over all of it. Sure, tell me. What did you do here? At the hub? Sure, everywhere. 6 years while I wasn't here. Start with that one for fun. Well, World Mental Health Day had to come from somewhere. What were you guys doing? Catch me up. I'll catch you up to what I was doing in Calls for Shelter, in Bramalea, in Brampton. You want to go over disorders again? What's a disorder? Do you remember that? Mental health disorders are disorders of the mind, right? When they're out of order. What's anxiety disorder then if you're grinning and laughing and smiling at all of this? How many of you have anxiety? Go, 6 years. How many of you? If I counted real quick, 90%? What happened to Uncle Ejaz? Was he flexing on the police when they killed his butt? Buddy, were you sitting here? Why don't we walk up to the building and we can recreate it? For World Mental Health Day. Wasn't he schizophrenic? Well, let's go test it. Come on, you call them and we'll go. He had a knife and tried to harm a police officer, did he? But did he have schizophrenia and did they release him from the hospital earlier that day? Because that doesn't make sense, right? They'd release him from the psychiatric ward if he was a danger, especially if he was schizophrenic. So go for it. They want... Well, from what I heard, the ambulance called, right? The police, because he had a knife. That's their job, the police, the knife. So, it depends on all of Malton in your mouth. But World Mental Health Day, so I guess everybody's allowed to have their say, right? Well, who diagnosed the schizophrenia? Let's go over that one since we know that's a mental health issue, since you brought it up too. Since we know schizophrenia has to be diagnosed, where do you get diagnosed in Malton? If he already had it and he was in the hospital, I guess, because somebody called and put him there before? Did he go himself voluntarily? If there's medication, if he was schizophrenic, that's another issue. So go for it. What better day than today in Malton? I did. I asked for months and months. Who taught you about mental health? What did you hear? Where did you hear it? What qualifies? Months and months. I didn't turn to somebody else. Remember that one? So here we are on the best day ever, World Mental Health Day. Well, go ahead. What's anxiety? We went over fear, right? What's intimidation? Threats leads to anxiety, leads to... So how come the police don't qualify if they do it to you? If you were trying to defund them for offing people? Yeah, now I would like to hear. Well, I didn't do it. Natalie Hart, Ward 5. That's the commenter. I hope you're amused with yourselves. I keep telling you, you want respect. Why do you keep saying that word to people? It is a joke. You want to go back to empathy for Mental Health Day? Which one? Police officers that should have it? People that should have it? Parents that should have it? For their kids? What about abuse? We went over that, right? Verbal abuse. You're talking about anxiety. So what would cause anxiety? Like a police officer doing that to you? With who? These are your children, right? What if that was the same woman that showed up at the school? You're the one leaving comments, right? Same thing, same question for the men. Let me hear again. You're the one who was texting my phone calling me mental, right? So go for it. This is your chance, Malton. And the stigma, what does that mean? Around asking for help. Let's go over that one. What does that mean? Don't be ashamed. And the stigma around mental illness, mental health means don't go around calling people crazy. Didn't we go over that like when I moved in? Why you shouldn't do that? So why are you sitting here at the Westwood Square telling me about it now? When? When you're the people that did all of that to me in the year that passed. Where do you think Westwood Square is? How does it work for them? They sweep it under the carpet and ignore it, and it works just fine. That's how it works for them. Imagine the joke. Sitting here talking about the Peel Police. You know how many ambulances and fire trucks did you hear today? Since this morning, right here in Malton, because the whole of Malton can hear them, right? How many do you think you heard by lunchtime? Yeah, if you're awake. So where do you think they all go? Apartment buildings? Schools? community center? And there can't be that many accidents, right? In a day with that many ambulances? That many fires in Malton? To see that many fire trucks? They want a sense of reality, right? So I'm just giving you a sense of reality. Why don't you go defund the officers since you're so proud of them now? Or maybe you can go. Did you see the post? They need money. How much do they need? So what are you doing here? Why don't you go raise funds for them? They deserve respect. Yeah. If it comes with the job, I guess it's paid respect, right? When they start bouncing basketballs, right? People start targeting their kids. Just remember me right here. They'll rewatch them. You wanted to come on and leave comments for everybody to see. You're lucky I don't record them all and post them. Yeah, how many of your kids go to the youth hub and the Malton Community Center for programs besides going to school where they go to school? Do you remember when we went over that? Which schools they go to? Where the root of the problem is? Weren't you guys going over that? The root of the problem? Why you needed to teach them empathy? Why they're addicted to their phones? How come you didn't mention that on World Mental Health Day? Phone addiction, social media, anything like that. Doesn't that qualify? Mental health? Look at the stuff you're doing to me. Can you imagine if your kids were going through that? I mean, that would qualify as mental health, I thought, but another year. I hope she dies. Is that bad to say? I was shaking like a leaf. As you're sitting here on World Mental Health Day, right? Why people off people? Do you understand? Then what are you doing? You're not what? What am I explaining? Why they shouldn't be police officers again? How many of them? Well, are you getting their pictures now since you're all familiar doing that? The joke? I told you I hope you die after this. Yes, I'm threatening every one of the police officers. Didn't I make it clear? Leave me alone. Why didn't I stop going to the Tim Hortons and the police station too? They can just cater to you. Forget their jobs, right? You already made them look worse than you started. Why don't we go back to the Peel School Board and systemic racism? Are they still the cause, or is that something else now? Oh, I just live here, remember? Why don't you go over police officers that gaslight when they shoot people? What the cause is? Is it because a victim is gaslighting them? Well, what does the training involve? Mental health? Are they supposed to deal with situations? What's de-escalation? What's all that about? Those are all the videos I watched, right? I don't know why any of you are laughing. I think this is a joke. You're sitting here talking to me at all. Yeah, just like you guys, right? Children's aid. You're actually sitting here drinking with your children. I shouldn't record them. I shouldn't go outside and record. I have an actual business. But you continue your lounging lifestyle in Moulton. So, any high school kids making plans for when they graduate? What are you going to take in college? What kind of careers do you want to go into? Careers like law, food, construction? Who should I be talking to? Imagine this. That's real good. But if she's an abuser, I mean, imagine what you're telling all the women who actually have to call for help, huh? You're behind her 100%. But all the victims, 6 years, right? All the be an ally and violence against women, they're going to have to deal with her. What do you think is going to happen to them after that? They're going to what? Jump? Why don't you get a sense of reality? I'm going to take a break. Why don't you go get them to watch it? Every day. You want to rape people till they give you respect? I don't think that's going to work either. Do you? Why don't you just pay them money and bribe them? That might work better, quicker. I want all of you again. All of them again, all of them. Together this time. Every single time. You know who to call.